Hey everyone, welcome back to my Dev Web App channel. Today I'm going to build a draggable list app in React. I will use HTML drag and drop API and will not use any additional drag and drop libraries. Let's take a look at the design. As you can see, I have a header and a list with 5 items. And now I can hover over an item and now I can grab it and move it to item 2 position. And as you can see, now my list contains item 2 at the top and item 1 below. And also I can move item 2 to the position of item 5. And as you can see, I have item 2 at the bottom. And also I can change the items. And let me refresh the page and move the items again. Okay, and let's go to the code and build our application. I launched my Visual Studio Code and opened folder where I store my React projects, and now I'm going to run new terminal and run command npm create vite at latest. And I'm going to provide project name, and it will be draggable list. Okay, and select React and JavaScript. Okay, and now I can navigate to my project with cd command, and I'll open my project in new window. Okay, and start terminal, and install dependencies with command npm install. Okay, dependencies were installed, and now I can start dev server with command npm run dev, and open my project in browser. And we have our Vite plus React project running locally. Okay, and now I can hide the console and check package.json. And as you can see in dependencies, we have React version 19 and React DOM. And also some dev dependencies like Vite and other. Okay, and let me open source files and check app.jsx. And I'm going to remove all this auto-generated code. And also here and return some h2 tag with draggable list text. Okay, and I can remove all these imports and also count. And let's check. And we have our header here. And now I can adjust styles. And I'm going to remove styles for links, also for buttons, h1 tag, and also from media. Okay, and I will change place items to justify content. Okay, and save. And also I can adjust styles in app CSS. I'll just remove all styles except a root element. Let's check again. And as you can see, we have our header at the top. And now I can add new component for my draggable list. Inside source files, I'm going to create new folder components. And we'll add new file, draggable list JSX for React component, and also draggable list CSS for my styles. Okay, and now I can create functional component function draggable list and return some JSX. I'll just copy this h2 tag and let's add some div, and inside div provide our draggable list header. And now I can export my component and import it here. And let me add draggable list and close tag. And as you can see, import was added. And let's check. And we have the same header. And let's add some styles. I'm going to add class name container. And let's import our styles with import. And we'll add draggable list CSS. And let's add styles for our container. And it's a class. And first of all, I'm going to add fading and make it 1 rem for top bottom and 2 rem for left right. And also we'll add background and make it linear gradient, apply function, and make it to right. And we'll add color from blue to dark blue. Okay, and let's check. And we have our styles. And let me add border radius 10 pixels. And also we'll add some box shadow like 0.05 pixels, and let it be gray. Okay, and let's change color for h2 tag container and h2, and add color, let it be white color. Okay, let's check. And we have our styles. Now let's prepare data for our component, and I'm going to create array of objects and provide name const and list items. And it will be array of objects, and each object will have ID, and let me add one, and content will be item one. Okay, and I can copy this object and provide it here. Okay, and I'll change ID and item. Okay, and let me add more items and change numbers. Okay, I need 4, 5, here 5, 4, 3. Okay, and now I'll pass this list items to my component, and I'm going to use props. Okay, and inside my component, I can retrieve the props using object destructuring. Okay, and we have a list of items, and let's add some state variable. I'm going to use hook useState, and as you can see, it returns a stateful value and a function to update it. And we can provide initial value, and the initial value will be our list of items. Okay, and now I'm going to save what useState returns to items, and function will be set items. And now I can generate my items using map function of the array. Our items is an array, and I need to add code here. And I can use map function, and for each item, I'll provide JSX item, and also I'll use index, and let me provide JSX. And for each item, I'm going to add div and close div, and we'll provide content item, and I need code here, item, and we have content. And let's check what I have so far. Okay, and we have our items, but we need to add styles, and let me do it. And I'm going to add class name item, and add styles to my item. Okay, and let's add some padding, and it will be 0.5 rem for all sides, and also let's add margin for top bottom, also 0.5 rem, and 0 for left right, and I'm going to add background color and make it light blue, and also add some border radius 5 pixels, and also add some border 1 pixel, roll it, and add some gray color. Okay, and let's make cursor grab. Okay, and let's check again. And as you can see, we have our items, but draggable options aren't working so far, and we are going to add them. But first of all, let me open console, and we have this warning that each child in a list should have a unique key, and let's fix this first. And for each div, I'm going to add key and provide my item ID. Okay, and I need to do it inside map. Okay, and let's check now. I'm going to refresh the page, and as you can see, we now have this warning. Let's make our items draggable, and for that, I'm going to use draggable property. Okay, and let's check now. And as you can see, I can drag my items, but I cannot drop it because I need to provide more functions. And let me add function on drag start and handler on drag start, and I'll provide event, and I need to call some function, and I'll add event handler for on drag start, and will pass event and index from my map. Okay, and now we need to implement our on drag start, and it will be arrow function that will take event and index, event and also index, and let me do console log and indicate that on drag start, and here I need one more state variable, and I'll add it with hook use state, and I need my index, dragon index, and I will store it in variable dragon index, and function to update it will be set dragon index, and the initial value will be just null. And when drag start, I'm going to save my index and provide index. Okay, and let's check again. I'm going to open console and refresh the page, and as you can see, now I can grab, and as you can see, we have on drag start, and when I select some other index item, we have on drag start again. And now we can add event handler for on drop, and I'll provide function, and we'll implement it. Okay, let me provide function and add code and return, and let's do console log and add on drop, and let me check. I'm going to refresh, take some item and drop it, and as you can see, we don't have on drop message, and that's because we need to prevent default behavior, And for that, I'm going to add on drag over and prevent default behavior using event and prevent default. Okay, and let's check again. I'm going to refresh the page and take some item and drop it. And as you can see, now we have on drop. Okay, and we can. And now we need to add functionality to change the order of the items. And we need to know which index, which item we need to change. And for that, I'm going to add on drag enter and provide function with event and on drag enter and provide function with on drag enter handler and will pass event and also index. And let me add event handler const that will take event and index. And also I will just copy the code and will change console log. And also I need to provide some hovering index, and let me change the name that hover index, and also will be hover index. And here I'll set hover index, and let's check again. I'm going to refresh and drop, and we have on drag enter and again and again. And when we hovering over the element, we have on drag enter, and our code should set the index. Okay, and now we can return to our on drop element and provide the code to it. And let's check if our hovering index not null and our start and our let me add start index and it will be equals to drag index. And now I can compare our start index not equal to hover index. Then I'm going to create copy of my index of my items and make updated items, and we'll just make shallow copy of the array. I will just change the orders, and we're not going to change objects inside. And now I'm going to use splice function, updated items, and use splice function of array, and will provide my start index, and will remove this index from my array, and will store it in reordered direct item. Okay, and then I'll add this item to my updated items, and we'll add it after hover index, and we'll use my item. And now we need to update our items from the state with our updated items. And let's check what I have so far. I'm going to refresh the page and grab some item. And as you can see, the order was changed, and also here and here. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, and now we can just add some styles for our items. I can hide console, and let's add dragon and hovered classes for items. And here I'm going to provide code, and we'll add classes depending on the state. And now I'm going to check if my dragged index equals to current index of array. Then I'll provide dragon class, and otherwise I'll provide empty class. And also we need to check hover index. If hover index equals to index, then I'll provide hovered class, and we'll provide empty class otherwise. And okay. And I need to add classes for my hovered and dragon, and let me do it. I'll copy class and provide it here. And for dragon, let me add opacity like 0.7, and also add some transform and make rotate -3 degree, and also add some border like 2 pixels dashed red. And for hovered class, I'm going to change background color to red. And also we can add hover to our item. And I'm going to add hover pseudo class and change background color from light blue to some other color, something like that. And also let's change color for text to white. Okay, and let's check. I'm hovering, and as you can see, color was changed. And now I can grab my item and drop it somewhere. Okay, and item was dropped, but we need to clear the color. Okay, and for that we need to set dragon index to null, and also set hover index to null. Okay, and also we need to add one more event handler. We need to add on drag and provide function. I'll add on drag and function, and we'll add event handler. And let me do it const and provide function, and I'll just copy paste this code. And also let's do console log, check this event. Okay, and let me open console log, and now I'm going to grab item 2, and as you can see we have on drag start, on drag enter, again on drag enter, and now I'm going to drop, and as you can see we have on drop and on drag end events, and our items were changed, and we have the initial styles. And let me show you one more thing. And now I'm going to grab item 3 and move it here and drop. And now we have only on drag end, but we don't have on drop, and item 3 was returned to the initial state. And also the same for item 4. And that's why we need on drag end. And let's test again. And now I can hide my console, refresh, and move items to check that everything is working, and that looks good. And that's all that I had for today. If you like my video, subscribe to my Dev Web App channel, like the video. I'll provide the link to code in the video description. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.